Never once in all my years of living or traveling on the African continent have I been mistreated in any way because of my ethnicity, because of my skin color. And this is in spite of the fact that I come from a country who are guilty for some of the worst colonial crimes ever inflicted throughout human history.
Hello guys, what's up everybody? I hope you're doing good wherever you are. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for sparing your time to pass by this channel to see what we have to learn and to empower ourselves. In case you're coming across this channel for the first time, welcome as well. Please hit that subscription button to be part of this community. Now, in today's video, I want us to talk about a so familiar topic, and that is racism. And when we talk about racism, anytime the word racism is mentioned, very likely what comes across in our minds are two parties, the oppressor and the oppressed on this other side. And in most cases, we even have examples in our heads, in our mental images. We have the oppressor being a white supremacist, the white racist, and the victim being black people, of course. So white supremacist on this one side, and black people on the other side. The oppressor, the oppressed, or the oppressor and the victim. But what if I told you that sometimes that person that you think is an oppressor could also be a victim of the so-called racism? I have a beautiful video here that I would love us to watch it together by this white brother, white gentleman. Let's watch this video together, and at the end of the video, we will have something to say. So right here is the video.
I've lived in 5 different countries in Africa. I've lived in Malawi, Botswana, Zambia, Morocco, and Nigeria. I have also traveled extensively in South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and Egypt. Never once in all my years of living or traveling on the African continent have I been mistreated in any way because of my ethnicity, because of my skin color. And this is in spite of the fact that I come from a country who are guilty for some of the worst colonial crimes ever inflicted throughout human history. That's right, I was born in Great Britain. And without doubt, the British and the French committed the greatest atrocities across the continent of Africa. The Belgians have a good claim for the greatest atrocity in their treatment of the Congolese, but if one looks at it as an entity and the number of countries that were invaded by the British and French colonialists, one will see that they are the worst protagonists. Despite this, and despite the behavior of my ancestors, I have never been mistreated. In fact, I have been welcomed warmly in all of the countries I have lived in or visited. And when in Africa, I don't cocoon myself in some enclave dome which is inhabited by people who like to refer to themselves as expats. I hate that term. But no, I integrate as much as possible within local society. I will go to a shebeen. I will go to any compound and experience life as it is for people in the country where I am based. So whether that's in the village, whether it's in the township, whether it's in the local bar, I will integrate, I will mix, and I am always made welcome. Now contrast that with the way many Africans are treated when they choose to live in the United Kingdom or France or other parts of Europe. The difference is incredible. The everyday racism experienced by African people on the European continent is a crime against humanity. Now, there are different types of racism. The most obvious is the day-to-day experience that an African will have whilst living in parts of Europe. The name calling, the staring, the subtle discrimination. And for many Africans, they will just brush it off because it is so common that they just get used to it, sadly. Worse, though, is the institutional and structural racism that Africans have to abide with. The restrictions on their movements, the fact that most passports emulating from the African continent will only allow Africans to travel visa-free to a handful of countries. And most of those will be other African countries or countries in the Caribbean. And moreover, the difficulty that Africans have finding work in Europe is unimaginable. People who are qualified as doctors, accountants, lawyers, university lecturers, nurses, teachers do not have their qualifications and experiences recognized by most European countries. I know many people from Africa working in various parts of Europe as security guards or as care assistants when back home they had highly skilled professional jobs. But that experience is rarely recognized when they come to Europe unless they come as part of a transfer with an existing company. But if they come because they've migrated to Europe, their chances of accessing the sort of job which they are eminently capable of is slim. Now, if a black person was making this video, they would be quickly dismissed. They'd be dismissed as having an axe to grind or always trying to find problems. And again, that's part of racism. The fact that I can speak because of my white privilege means that I have a duty to do so, not because I'm married to an African woman or because I have many African friends, but because I like to think I'm a decent human being who appreciates the value in every person on our planet.
Okay, right there is the video by that brave brother. I'm saying brave because speaking truth to power in an instance where you know you stand to get a backlash is never easy. And massive respect for that man. I always say I hold a lot of respect for white folks who come out to say the truth about the whole scenario, the whole situation of racism, and to call out white supremacy and white supremacists. See, I have always insisted that black people don't have a problem with white people. I personally don't have a personal problem on a personal level with any white person. I have a serious problem with the concept that was created by the white supremacists, the imperialists, called the whiteness or the white supremacy that now gives birth to racism and all those other related discriminations. So the fight is not about white people being fought by black people. No, it is the concept of whiteness and white supremacy that is the problem. Now, when we started this video, I said sometimes you might see someone as being an oppressor, but technically that person is also a victim. If you have been in this channel long enough, then you know what I mean. Sometimes white people themselves are also, and I say also because the obvious victim is a black person. Okay, sorry for the small glitch. So what I'm saying is sometimes the white person that you think is an oppressor could be a victim of racism. How? You might ask yourself how, or you might be having the question, now how can the racist become a victim of racism? Now, this is how this happens. Once you internalize the concept of whiteness, of telling yourself, telling your children, telling people that white is good and black is not good, as white supremacists want to put it, this sinks in. This is well inculcated in people's minds now, especially the white people, to an extent that now they automatically think that whiteness comes inherently with perfection. While we know that nobody is perfect, if you begin to think that you're better than someone, you're naturally born a better person than that other person. Now the problems comes in when now you stop trying to become a decent human being, because being a decent human being is actually an effort you have to apply. You have to do it. You have to actively try to always become a decent human being. There are a few things you will start doing, you will need to start doing, and others you have to stop doing. Now, if you automatically think by the color of your skin you're a better person, then you stop trying to become a decent human being. You stop trying to treat people with dignity. You stop trying to think that everybody deserves dignity. You even stop trying to work hard, because working hard at some of those qualities that come up clear as for decent human beings, at least by the definition of the current world. So then if you start thinking of yourself as a perfect person, and clearly nobody is perfect, you stop trying to become a good person, then you have automatically become a victim of racism as a white person. Okay, that now that's settled. We go back to the video of this brother, and I want us to knock off a few points. Well, first of all, that's a well-traveled man, well-traveled, especially across Africa, and he confesses himself that the hospitality in Africa, and this is something we really know, the world really knows, Africans and hospitality and welcoming are wonderful. Black people and hospitality are one and the same thing. He has been welcomed, he says, in all of the places he has been as a white person, because of course he's a white person. Never has he ever been treated in such a manner to show that he's being discriminated. Actually, Africans are not perfect. And of course, there are people of questionable character. He might have said he's not been discriminated, but he inevitably has come across people of character that is not very pleasing, because that's the human nature. Africans are not perfect, but at least from the view of things, there is no discrimination based on your skin color. In fact, if anything, there is favor that comes with the color of his skin. Today I came across a quote that says, you need to leave the village as soon as you can, because villages have one tendency of killing dreams. This is a man that has left the village. That's a man that's well traveled, as you have heard from what he's saying. So, and traveling gives you a good perspective, a good world, a wider world view, and more tolerance, more understanding, and just generally more wisdom and more knowledge. So he's a person that when he speaks, I mean, he has something to share because he has seen a lot. Traveling a lot means seeing a lot. So people need to leave their village mentalities, because in fact, white supremacy, if you find people, because I have always said, white supremacy as it was during its invention was a business, was and is an enterprise. If you just jump into the trade without knowing that this is a business as a white person, then the truth is you're in the wrong train, because basically if you're not benefiting from it, then you are going to become a victim, like I just said. So something else is, well, what we black people must stand up for ourselves, must fight for ourselves, must fight against white supremacy and racism till the very end, if there is any. But also white people coming out clean to say the truth. The truth is the truth, and the truth does not belong to any one specific person. The truth stands on its own strong. So white taking responsibility, I think, is also a good move, because imagine of this situation. So I was told of this story. You're living in one room and you have a roommate, someone you live with. And one time you happen to come from, let's say, from work, and you go to the kitchen and there's a mess. The food leftovers, he cooked, and he left food all over the kitchen. And you decide, because you're not the one who created the mess, you're not gonna do anything about the leftovers. So you go to sleep. And tomorrow, your roommate didn't show up, or showed up and didn't do anything about their mess. So again, you come back from work, the mess is still there, the food left over. By now, the food is probably going bad or going stale. And of course, for stale food, let's say there's a bad smell coming out of the kitchen. And so for the second day running, you decide, it's not my mess. I'll wait until he's back and he's cleaning up his mess. But what if the person does not come? The smell will inevitably push you out of your room, your comfort, to take responsibility of the mess, even though you're not the one who made the mess. But the awful smell doesn't care whether you're the one who created the mess or not the one. So you also become a victim. And then you take responsibility, and somehow you have to clean up the mess. And as you try to find what to do with the mess, this is exactly what is also happening, should happen with white people. Their ancestors might have been the one who created the mess, but because their ancestors are not here, their great grandparents and maybe grandparents and even parents are not here. So who takes the responsibility? It is those that are here today. The white people of today take responsibility for the mess of the white people of yesterday. And this applies even to, black people as well. We have to be people who take responsibility if we have to make things right at some point. So I really have respect for this gentleman for deciding that I didn't create the mess, but I am a victim of the mess. So I inevitably have to take care of the problem. I think that is what being a decent human being, a reasonable human being is. And I have often said this in my videos. There are many things that white supremacy, white people need to do to black people, and especially to Africa. Reparations and apologies. Two things. But even before that, even before the two, first step to making things right: stop treating the black people of today like how the white people of yesterday, I mean the ancestors of white people, treated the ancestors of black people. If we don't start from that point, we're not moving, we're not doing anything. I don't know what you have about this, what you have to say about this, your opinions. You can share that in the comment section. Please share this video with your friends and your family. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to this channel for more content like this. And check out our other videos in the channel. Until next time, I will be happy to see you in the next video. Peace out.